The Power of Myth features some of Joseph Campbell's most profound sayings about the hero journey. One of them is this: a hero is someone who has given his life to something bigger than himself. That's the central message of the myth, he says. You, as you know yourself, are not the final term of your being. And that is so good. Positive psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi agrees, and he says it this way: one cannot lead a life that is truly excellent without feeling that one belongs to something greater and more permanent than oneself. And what's exciting for me this morning is to see this idea about the hero literally inscribed in our 7 Unitarian Universalist principles, especially in the way they are numbered and laid out. Listen, we, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, covenant to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, acceptance of one another, and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, and respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part. Every principle beyond the first represents a bigger thing and a something greater that the hero gives himself or herself to. If the inherent worth and dignity of every person is me, then justice, equity, and compassion in human relations is what I do with you. And acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations is us. The right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large, that is the nation. The goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all is the world. And finally, respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part, that is the all. From me to you, to us, to nation, to world, to all. That is the Unitarian Universalist hero journey. That's what I want to talk about today. What needs to be in our backpacks to help us stay on track with the task of giving ourselves to increasingly bigger and greater things. What needs to be in there to help us stay focused. What needs to be in there to help us fight against forgetfulness, fight complacency. And as a side note, if you are listening carefully and you know your 7 principles, you're wondering where the 4th principle of the free and responsible search for truth and meaning went. Where'd that thing go? Well, I'll explain in a bit. You'll see. So, what is in our Unitarian Universalist backpack? Well, the first thing is a map of the hero's journey, its basic phases. The call to adventure, the threshold, the challenges and temptations, the transformation, the return. You see the guy at the top who's got a backpack on his... Think Odysseus. Think Bilbo Baggins. Think Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker, Katniss Everdeen. The map is there in our Unitarian Universalist backpack to remind us that the inherent worth and dignity is fundamentally dynamic in nature. That is what that is. It is not just some kind of lumpish thing. It is energy. It wants to move from potential to actual. It's got places to go. It's got things to do. It means that when the principles tell us to affirm and promote, what we're really being asked to do is to take that map out of our backpack and for each individual, including ourselves, find out where they happen to be on their hero's journey. Every individual is somewhere on that map. Odysseus in process. Harry Potter in process. That is the reality of every individual. That's the reality of me. But now what happens when the focus shifts to that of the other, from me to you? And here is where we move to a slightly bigger thing. And what helps us do that is the next item in our backpack. It is a travel-sized version of Monopoly. Now, Pull that out of your backpack and start playing, and all sorts of learnings related to justice, equity, and compassion in human relations start to unfold. For one thing, games in general are great teachers of the arts of civilization. They really are. Play can provide a safe outlet for releasing aggressive instincts, impulses. Play teaches people how to follow rules. Play teaches people how to take turns. You want kids to learn justice, equity, and compassion, have them play lots of games. I remember playing games with my older brother, Rob. Not Monopoly so much as chess. We played a lot of chess together. And once he got so frustrated, he swept the entire board with his arm. Just swept all those pieces off, flung them off, and I was outraged, mostly because I finally was about to beat him. Victory was taken away from me, a thing I deserved. And when you don't get what you deserve, that is injustice. But I'm recommending not a chess set, but Monopoly for our Unitarian Universalist backpack. Precisely so, because so much of justice, equity, and compassion relate to privilege and oppression, the haves and the have-nots. You can learn a lot about justice if you play the game like it gets played in real life. Different rules for different players, right? Player 1 receives $350 for passing go well above the standard 200 and is permitted to buy houses and hotels 2 for 1. Player 2 has rules like you can only move half the amount of your roll, and you can only buy property priced less than $150. Player 3 has rules such as you will go directly to jail for rolling a number higher than 7, meaning that he's in jail most of the time, or people tend to shoot first, ask questions later. Player number 4 is the only one who gets to play by the actual rules in the rule book, and his privilege, the privilege of not being interfered with, is completely invisible to him. If the me, the individual, is on a hero's journey, then surely the heroic thing to do when the me meets you is to play a fair game. Repair the one that is rigged and that is wrong. But this is a daunting task. And so happily, me meets you is not all there is to it. The next thing we pull out of the backpack is this picture. It reminds us that there is no way to get to the beauty of a rainbow if you are but one color standing alone. You just can't do it. A rainbow is way more than just the sum of its parts. If the separate colors can learn to come together and learn how to stand together, what an amazing thing comes to life. It's the power of community, the power of we, which is larger than just me and just you. We build on foundations we did not lay, says the Reverend Peter Rabel. We warm ourselves by fires we did not light. We sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. We drink from wells we did not dig. We profit from persons we did not know. And then he says, this is as it should be. Together, we are more than any one person can be. Together, we can build across the generations. Together, we can renew our hope and faith in the life that is yet to unfold. Together, we can heed a call to ministry of care and a ministry of justice. Me and you alone, it just doesn't cut it. Each of us needs to plug into the power of us in order to keep the hero journey going. One hero journey killer, for sure, is shame, which absolutely depends on people thinking they are alone. But, says shame researcher Brene Brown, if we can share our story with someone who responds with empathy and understanding, shame can't survive. Love destroys shame. Together, We are more than any one person together. Together we can renew our hope and faith in the life that is yet to unfold. But now I want to shift gears here. I want you to shift gears here. I want you to listen very carefully to these quotes from a famous piece of literature. First quote: "In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole." And this means comfort. Second quote: "I'm looking for someone to share an adventure with, that I'm arranging, and it is so very difficult to find anyone." Well, I should think so in these parts. We are plain, quiet folk and have no use for adventures. Nasty, disturbing, uncomfortable things make you late for dinner. Third quote: "Sorry, I don't want any adventures. Thank you, not today. Good morning, but please come to tea anytime you like. Why, not tomorrow. Goodbye." That's the voice of Bilbo Baggins, of course, from The Hobbit. And right here is demonstrated the shadow side of us. The shadow side. Communities can hunker down in their hobbit holes and get complacent. Groupthink can take over. We are plain and quiet folk, and we have no use for adventures. That's what we hear from these kinds of communities. This is no search for truth and meaning. No search for truth and meaning has happened here. No longer is the search free. No longer is it responsive to the needs of the world. Which is exactly when we want to pull this out of our Unitarian Universalist backpack. It is a Gandalf action figure. Everyone needs one of these in a backpack. Henry David Thoreau, our great spiritual ancestor, knew this. He once said, "We must learn to reawaken and keep ourselves awake." And he sounded the alarm again and again because he knew that sleepwalking through life was a constant temptation, and it is easier to sleepwalk together than it is alone. We are plain quiet folk, and we have no use for adventures, we say to each other. We hypnotize each other with that. But along comes Gandalf. Gandalf will not allow for complacency. Gandalf plucks us up from our cozy little hobbit hole, plunges us into adventures. We learn that true justice is way more than just us. We learn that the road runs ever on towards higher levels of knowing and higher levels of being. And so we pull this item out of our Unitarian Universalist backpacks next. It's another action figure, John Stewart action figure. The fact is, me and you and us don't live hermetically sealed off from the nation. Where the nation goes, we go. And so we have to pay attention to what's happening in our democracy. We have to learn citizenship that makes a difference. And we have to do it in this day and age in which we see an ascendancy of truthiness and one schlocky pundit after another whose mantra is basically, truth is that which can be boldly asserted and plausibly maintained. There is, says Isaac Asimov, a cult of ignorance in these United States. The strain of anti-intellectualism has been a constant thread winding its way through our political and cultural life, nurtured by the false notion that democracy means my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge. Evolution is just another theory. More groans. I need to hear more groans. That one. Therefore, what would John Stewart do? What is that? WWJS. He is no patron saint of liberal smugness. Article in the New York Times says that he is. No, he is not. Again and again, he called out liberals as well as conservatives. When his mind reached out, his brilliant mind, when his mind reached out to another point of view and discovered it devoid of anything that would satisfy a reasonable person, anything at all, well, out came his hilarious and delicious irony. Made us laugh for 5 seconds and then think about it for 15 minutes. If truthiness is Voldemort, then Jon Stewart is Harry Potter, and he shows us the way to recreate engagement in the political process, to keep us engaged in the political process. But now, there are 2 more items in our Unitarian Universalist backpack. The next is a vial of water. Water reminds us of a level of being that is far greater than me or you or us or a nation. We all come from water, not just as mammals who float in amniotic fluid as we are readied for birth, not just as species on a planet where all life began in the ocean, but also as beings who in the here and now simply cannot survive unless there is something to drink, drinkable water to drink. Water is a symbol that reminds us of a reality that transcends all divisions and unites us all in one human family. And yet, almost 750 million people around the world lack clean drinking water. The United Nations has reported that more people now die from contaminated water than from all forms of violence. The human right to water, access to safe, sufficient, and affordable water for everyone is more important than ever. And as I say this, I feel like we are David facing down Goliath. As I say this, I feel like we are Odysseus in battle with the Cyclops. How can communities of us change a complex system like the world? But it is said that the most common way people give up their power is thinking they don't have any. It is said that nothing great was ever achieved by being realistic. I want that one to kind of sink in. Death Stars have been known to blow up. And now the last item in our Unitarian Universalist backpack. It is a prism. A prism demonstrates that appearances are deceptive where light is concerned and reveals an underlying harmony and beauty. And so too can we heroes accomplish our largest task of all, which is to give ourselves to the all, bring to the all a mind that operates like a prism. Look beneath and beyond surface appearances to the reality. Align ourselves with that reality despite appearances. Years ago, I sat in a darkened theater, and it was the start of the movie. And these are the words that scrolled down the screen. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. It is a period of civil war. Rebel spaceships striking from a hidden base have won their first victory against the evil galactic empire. And during the battle, rebel spies managed to steal secret plans to the Empire's ultimate weapon, the Death Star, an armored space station with enough power to destroy an entire planet. Pursued by the Empire's sinister agents, Princess Leia races home aboard her starship, custodian of the stolen plans that can save her people and restore freedom to the galaxy a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And also right here and now. No evil galactic empire per se or Death Star, but agents of evil that are just as bad. And me and you and us and the nation and the world are racing and rushing around just like Princess Leia. But I am struck by the movie's ultimate message that what really brings healing to the universe at all the levels, is the hero's discovery of the all. First, Obi-Wan Kenobi and then Yoda teach Luke Skywalker to bring the prism of his mind to reality, and what is revealed is the Force. Says Yoda, I'm not even going to try to Be like Yoda. Don't even do it. Says Yoda, size matters not. Look at me. Judge me by my size, do you? And well, you should not, for my ally is the force, and a powerful ally he is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings we are, not this crude matter. You must feel the force around you, here, between you, me, the tree, the rock, everywhere. Yes. Respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part is not just a nice sentiment. It wants to make us nothing less than Jedi Knights who serve a vision of the Force. And because of that vision of the Force, we want to heal the world. We want to heal the nations. We want to heal this community of us. We want to heal you. We want to heal me. Does not matter what your size is. Does not matter. That's what's in our Unitarian Universalist backpack. 7 items representing 7 principles, all adding up to a hero's journey through life. Follow your bliss, says Joseph Campbell, and here are the people of your bliss. Here they are. Here is the track of your bliss that you have been waiting for. Follow your bliss, he says, and don't be afraid, and doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, right here and now. Amen.